What's on, where and when. It's the Talk of Nelson. Talk Nelson Radio. The Mako Rugby Roundup.
Welcome back to another episode of the Mako Rugby Roundup. I'm your host, Chris Butler, and as always, joined by my co-hosts, Les Edwards and Sean Davis. Good to have you gentlemen back.
Thanks, buddy. Good to be back.
Another week gone, but we're into still lots more rugby to come, including our very special guest, Ethan Blackadder. Great to have you back, mate.
Thanks for having me, guys. Pleasure to be here.
I think last time, actually, you were our first guest that we had in person because we used to do these interviews by phone and you came into the Fresh FM studio. But now, as you can see, we've advanced to O'Shedigan's bar.
Bit of video.
It's evolved massively.
Yeah, it has, yeah. We'll see what happens next year. Let's jump into it. This week we talk Farah Palmer Cup. We are talking NPC and we catch up with what's happened since we last spoke and also the road to recovery, I guess you'd have to say, Ethan. Our venue sponsor is O'Shedigan's on Bridge Street, and if you're looking for a place to talk rugby and enjoy some great company, O'Shedigan's is the place to be. So let's get into it, the Shed Chat. How's the week been, Sean?
Good week, mate. Yep. We had, what did we have in the weekend? Oh, a bit of rugby, a couple of good results there. Mako got up over in Blenheim, but
yes.
Obviously we'll chat about that shortly. We had poker last night, which I dominated at. So
you dominated
hard every week, mate. It's just every Tuesday, rinse and repeat, you know.
So the cards aren't stacked in any way, are they?
Not at all, mate. Not at all. No.
Just a great player.
Just complete control.
Oh, and the Wires won.
And the Wires keep winning.
I know. That was...
Yeah,
Tigers gave them a good run, didn't they?
Yeah, they did push them a wee bit, but that was good. And yeah, obviously Football World Cup continues. We've got a couple more games left in that, which is exciting stuff and a great addition to the weekly live sport. And obviously we're looking forward to a couple of games on Saturday to see what stacks up for next Wednesday with the Ramsey Shield.
So we're recording this on Wednesday, and Wednesday night tonight is the Aussies versus England in the other semi-final. So any Aussies and English out there, O'Shedigan's will be open.
Yeah, mate. We'll have it on.
So come on down and
cheering on our Aussie friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Go the Tillies.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing how many people have been corresponding Kiwis living in Australia, saying for the first time they put on a Australian jersey and they've been supporting the Aussies. So
they're pulling big numbers as well. You know, they're up there with NFL and NRL and AFL. I think they're in terms of viewership topping the NRL final
and big crowds. Right.
Big crowds. Tickets sold, and this is Kiwis, not including people from overseas. 700,000 tickets.
That's great.
Just in New Zealand. So that's just
it started off slow. It's funny how World Cups can do that.
Yeah.
And one game in, everyone goes, I want to be a part of this. Like 2011 in New Zealand. It was pretty quiet until the Tongans arrived, and then everyone went, it's on, better get some.
That's right. You can see the flags everywhere. Yeah, no, that's right. I think that win against Norway, it just kicked off from there. So, going to an exciting final for sure, but it'll all be on tonight. Okay, let's get into the rugby, Farah Palmer Cup, and what's it looking like, Les?
Well, Tasman, as we know, travelled to Palmerston North on Sunday. They had a loss, 46 points to 14, but seriously, I was there at Trafalgar Park when they played 2 years ago. They played each other 2 years ago, and the Mako got absolutely towed by Manawatu. So this is a good result in terms of the evolution of the improvement of this Mako squad under Mel Bosman. And again, those Salika Winiata for Manawatu just is a class above and created some great opportunities for the win. But that means we progress this Saturday at 2:05 p.m. in Blenheim. The Mako are playing Northland Cowrie. So that's 3 versus 4. And, just another opportunity to play a good team, but with home ground advantage over in Lansdowne Park.
Just amongst the training, Ethan, have you had a chance to see the coaches and girls at work, and have you had a chance to see any of the games?
I actually haven't much this year so far.
Haven't had a chance.
I watched the first game. They narrow lost to Otago, and that was pretty impressive. But I've heard some good things coming out of their camp, and seems like they're just really enjoying their footy and
some new coaches come on board, and I think they're just really gelling from what I've seen and heard.
Yeah, Manawa too, really leading the way, aren't they? They're a strong side.
Yeah, for sure. They'll be one of the top contenders to take out the comp. So, like Liz said, I think it's a great result, and in terms of progress for the ladies, and another big challenge this weekend.
So Northern Coyote doing all right, 3-1. I don't know what opposition they've had, but they're fairly close on the table, so we're expecting a tight match.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Northland are one of those teams in the championship division who are strong. They've got an All Black prop in their mix, and this is the point. When the Mako play most teams, they're coming up against some Black Ferns players. We have none. So this is what you do at this stage in your life cycle, is you learn from these better players, continue to improve. And I'm absolutely delighted with the way our ladies team is progressing.
Wonderful. The Bunnings Warehouse NPC, and on Saturday it was versus Auckland. Good day in Blenheim. Did you manage to get along, Ethan?
Sure did, mate. Yeah, it wasn't. I don't miss too many home games, so no, it was a good win, and I was stoked to see a few boys make their debuts, and I think we're tracking quite nicely for the start of the season.
Yeah.
So, and there's still a lot of growth in our game, that's the exciting part.
Well, we had in Hugh, the manager, last week, and big emphasis was on the slow start from last season, and perhaps some of the players coming from Super Rugby a bit late, just sort of wandering in. And they said, well, we're going to change that. And they went off to a camp in Picton, I believe. So did you attend that at all, or did you miss out on that?
Oh, I actually missed the camp.
Yeah.
I went over on the Thursday, but I missed the night they stayed in the Marae and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I heard the boys had a lot of fun, and it was a great connection to start the year off.
Yeah. And so, that's sort of come through, as we can see, with a great start to the season. And so what were your thoughts on the game against Auckland?
Yeah, I think we started really well, especially in the first half. We had them under the pump. And then momentum changed in that second bit, as it always does in a game of footy. But I think we're just too strong across the board. But there's still a lot of things, like I say, that we can improve on, and that's the exciting part this early in the season.
Yeah, well, that's pretty helpful, isn't it? And as you say, game of two halves. But I mean, as the commentator said, Auckland brought down some big names and some big humans. And that first half they wouldn't have been happy with. So I guess at half time, the Auckland coaches would have been ripping into them.
Yeah, you're probably right. I just feel like there was an element of control throughout the whole game. I know Auckland put on a good second half, but I don't know. I don't know how Auckland are going to go. They seem to, and even that first week against Bay of Plenty, they seem to just not be firing. I mean, like you say, they've got some big names in that squad, but whether or not it's just not connecting or clicking for them just yet. But no, good win, I think, and it's a good way to start the season.
Let's talk about so far who's impressed us in that game. Must mention the fullback. Is it Robinson? Is that right? Have I got that correct? Ethan Robinson, is that from Collingwood?
Oh, Taino.
Sorry, Taino.
Yeah, Tane Robinson.
Tane Robinson, yeah. So a couple of mistakes early on, but he's had to come in for Tom Marshall, who was injured, and a couple of early mistakes, but then he got that try. And then after that, he seemed to do really well. So I looked him up, and there he is, Collingwood man. And I thought, Ethan must know that family. So you know him quite well, or?
Yeah. I've known Tane since he was probably 5 or 6. Yeah. So throws back to the Collingwood days. But it's been really cool seeing Tane's development through the rugby system over the years, and I'm just thrilled for him and stoked how he's been playing, because year on year he just keeps getting better.
So what is it in Collingwood? Is it the river water? Is it what they eat over there? We get some good players coming out of Collingwood, don't we?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what it is, but
area schools, mate.
Yeah, it has to be. Just good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Grassroots lads that you're given a sniff and try and take your opportunities.
They are farmers, so they're big and strong.
Lifting fence posts, like Colin Meads.
Yeah, exactly. And but some qualities come out of there. The least of, or the most of which is our guest here, Ethan. But Quinny Strange, your dad Todd, all of these people who were farming families over in Collingwood, coming down. Apart from Tane, I thought a couple of players stood out for me, Ethan. Antonio Chalfoun came on the second half, in the first half to replace Pari Parkinson, and I thought he put in a big shift at lock. And the other was the number 8, Tim Sale, who did a power of work as a replacement for Hugh Renton. Were you impressed with those two guys as well?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, Tony come on and, he just worked bloody hard and nailed his roles the whole game, didn't he?
Mm.
But, he's a quality player. And then Timmy Sale, he was outstandanding too. Yeah, right across the board, I thought everyone played pretty well. And then obviously Levi beaten about 20.
He was the one I was going to say. Definitely the standout.
Absolutely. That first 15 minutes of his was he and Alex Nankerville, what a midfield pairing. We're very lucky, aren't we? But there was that big lull in the at the start of the second half with no points until about the 74th minute. But the defence was holding up, wasn't it? It's not like Auckland were getting through and they scored a try late. But in the main, the defence is going really well this year. Same against Otago for that long period in the first half against them.
Yeah, that's been a good point in our game to start off with, and Hoon's been driving that pretty hard.
Hawani McDonald.
Yep. It's our D coach. So the boys are buying into it, and looks like we're enjoying defending. So it's great.
Well, that's what they say wins championships, isn't it? So if you get that right, and then you've got the attack weapon on top of that. I thought number 6, did you say is
Max Hicks?
Hicks, I thought he had a great game. And also, Antonio, when he came on to replace Pari, I thought he was outstanding as well. So, good effort, and what a good start to the season.
Yep.
So if we're going into so what have we got next? We've got, is it against Northland, is that correct?
Yeah, so the boys travel to Whangarei to play Northland at 7:05 p.m. on Saturday, but more importantly, as important, at 2:00 Wellington are playing Southland.
Yes,
right. And that's a shield challenge for Southland. Now, of course, all our fingers are crossed that Wellington win that game, because what that will mean is after we've beaten Northland, we then go to Wellington on Wednesday at 7:00, and it would be a Ranfurly Shield challenge.
Yeah, so that's it'd be great if the stars aligned, wouldn't it?
About that, are you? No mention of it.
Got to get through Northland first.
One step at a time.
The log of wood is not being mentioned in the dressing room, apparently.
Oh, we mention it on here every week.
Yeah, we do.
That'll be good though. That'll be Wellington Southland. I mean, that'll get some eyes from around the region onto that game for sure.
Yeah, and Southland have travelled okay.
Yeah.
They're good battlers, aren't they, Ethan, down there?
Yeah, they're a pretty steady side, and they love working hard for each other. So who knows what could happen? But I'm hoping they don't.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
And obviously they'll be targeting this game because it is a shield challenge. So regardless of what's happened, it'll be their focus for sure.
Oh, every side lifts for the occasion, don't they?
Yeah.
But what are our thoughts against Northland and Whangarei?
I think it'll be business as usual. I think we'll get the job done. I don't think it'll be a blowout. Northland have battled away in their first two games, showed some good signs, but I think we should be too strong for them.
I think it's important to get a bonus point for 4 tries. Do that, and that sets you well for as far as the ladder goes. And they should be able to get 4 tries against Northland, but I don't think it'll be a blowout either. We're going to have to work really, really hard for 80 minutes and stick to those things that we're displaying on out of those first 2 games. Some really good attack and some strong D. Would you agree, Ethan?
Yeah, that's right, man. And if we get our set piece right, I think we can take them out of the game, and then use our attacking threats and just be direct with them, and I think we'll come away.
Read an article during the week, not to bring up controversy, but we like controversy on the show, about a review of the NPC. And it was article online, so I don't know how realistic it was, but behind the scenes, I don't know if you've heard anything, Les, there's talk about the structure. One comment from the Southland president, or at least CEO, is saying that currently it's unfair. There is a big blowout between the top sides and the other sides, and certainly financially, and would be happy to see themselves in a second-tier competition.
Yeah, I know Steve Mitchell. He was the operations manager at Tasman. What he was saying is he wants to be in the NPC, but he liked the idea of the Premiership Championship, which we had until 2 years ago, right? So he was quite comfortable for his side on their use of the salary cap to be in that championship and just continue to improve and only using local players, right? And creating some momentum that way. He wasn't saying he didn't want the NPC, and there wouldn't be a CEO in the National Provincial Championship who'd like to see the NPC go. What Mark Robinson is saying is that it seems to be unsustainable because some unions are losing money, but I do believe that there's no reason why 14 union CEOs can't nut it out and get this more equitable. But you take the NPC away from New Zealand rugby, and that's a whole pathway that has continued to make New Zealand rugby strong since 1976, right? The NPC is something that the Australians would love to have.
Yes.
And in fact, they're talking about it. How do we get it? So I don't want to see it disappear.
You wouldn't think it would go that way, but that doesn't sell papers or
no, and I don't think they'll talk.
Mark Robinson, the CEO of New Zealand Rugby, saying this stuff. It's not thoughtful.
I understand the structure discussion because it changes almost every couple of seasons. So, what's perfect, I'm not sure either, but it's it's got to stay.
Well, it definitely, I think obviously it's obviously it all comes down to financial, because Southland are saying, well, we haven't got the money to get the big players, so, and they were happy in that second. It's interesting, your comments about clarifying that, because it made it sound that they would be happy sitting in a second tier competition.
In Heartland?
Or whatever that might be. But then I think, well, hang on, Tasman is, for a small union, is batting pretty well at the moment. So how does that work?
And fitting everything within the allowed salary cap.
Yes.
Where it can go wrong is outside the salary cap, where you might spend a lot more money on other things in high performance. Your coaching, your S&C staff and whatnot. So, I can't believe that Mark Robinson spoke up at this stage when he would have known that the 14 CEOs are currently talking about how to make it more viable financially. So, I'm surprised. But as you say, it's got a big article in the paper and people are reading that, but it's just a furphy at the moment.
I'll tell you what will help Southland is they win the Shield this weekend.
Yes, but that's but you're a naughty boy.
Well, I'm sorry to bring up that controversy, but I just thought it was, just when things I thought were rolling pretty well. One of the things was crowds in the stadiums, and we've had a lot of rugby. We've had the Super Rugby, we've had the Championship Rugby, and we had Max Spence on not so long ago saying actually it's in pretty good. He's sick and tired of hearing the game's not in a good state. It is in a good state. Granted, the crowds aren't there, but the streaming views are going through the roof, and that's the growth. So I guess that's what they're looking at. They're looking at the small crowds in the stadiums. But I mean, we all get to watch it online, don't we, Ethan? I mean.
Yeah, that's it. The access to streaming and Sky now is quite doable, isn't it? So, and it is a lot more comfy at home, which is a bugger.
But cold, on a Saturday night, I look forward to being on the couch, unfortunately, watching the Mako play Auckland, and that's sad, isn't it? But that's the reality.
I don't see attendance being an indicator of the interest people have got in the NPC. As Ethan says, it's a lot warmer at home. If it's a bitterly cold Wednesday night at the Cape Town, right, next week, how many people are they going to get who would go to that rather than perhaps go and stay home and watch it at 7 o'clock on Sky?
Just Mako fans, aren't
Just a busload of Mako fans on the field.
I remember once, one of the Nelson blizzards that come across Trafalgar Park, and we were inside the marquee. Fortunately, I took a video of what do we call it? The East Stand, don't we?
Yeah.
And they're all in there, absolutely huddled like this with this blizzard going across, but the faithful. So
I've heard rumour there could be a hammerhead attendance at the cake tin if it goes that far. So
there we go. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, that would be magnificent.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Okay, well,
confirm at least 6 will be going from this part.
Yes, exactly. O'Shedigan's sponsored hammerheads.
well, they take the bus on the ferry this time, the walking bus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting that this should crop up at this time, and just when we're getting into NBC.
Before you run away from this controversy, what would that mean the role of a provincial union is if you take away the NPC? So what that would mean is that basically they're going to run the kiddies footy, which is great, JAB and age grade, and then they might have a club competition. But what the agenda Mark Robinson really has is he wants to put all the high performance and pathways under the 5 Super Rugby franchises. So there would be development teams, there would be under 20s teams, there would be women's rugby, all under those franchises, which means that at our clubland level, our top rugby would be Div 1, Div 2 standard footy, because all of those good players would have gone away.
And then they'll be feeding those provincial teams.
At some point, yeah. But I think they're really going to tap into the first 15s. So it becomes like the American model, doesn't it?
I mean, Tane Robinson.
Tane, yeah.
Tane, so I should say, comes out of Collingwood, ends up playing for Wellington, not for Mako.
Tane which college did he go to? E. Nelson College?
Yeah.
Yes, he
Nelson
did. Yeah.
So he comes out of Collingwood, plays for Stoke, goes to Nelson College, plays for Stoke, and then he'd end up in an academy away from home, not playing club rugby in Nelson.
The argument said that there was too much money going into high performance, that regional rugby was putting too much into high performance, not enough into community.
Well, I would say to you that the high performance pathway people want that money. There's not going to be any less spent. In fact, there'll be more spent. They want that share.
And like it or not, it's the high performance sector that generates income for the game in general. It's who people go to watch. It's it's what gets the stream.
I think it's all right where it is. I think it's fine where it is, and I don't mind a 2-tier competition. I don't mind promotion, regulation, relegation. I don't mind that model, and that's something you aspire to. Tasman Mako had to go through it. And it's not always the case that the top teams are always at the top just because they've got money. We proved that with the Mako, people wanting to stand out and get 80 minutes on the park, moving to this region to do that. So yeah, but yeah, I don't like the other format that's being suggested. And I think there's a lot going on in the community game. The clubs might differ, but there's certainly a lot of effort from my outside perspective. Someone tell us different. Make a comment on our Facebook page.
Who wants to move to Invercargill anyway?
Well,
a couple of Mako boys have for a better opportunity.
Well, you're going to go where you want to get noticed, and we want to get 80 minutes. Anyway.
Well, that's got to be the longest segment.
I'm sorry to bring it up. But I just thought, where did this article come from? I never heard about this. And why are we reviewing this already?
Yeah, left field. I mean,
finally get Ethan back on the show, and we want to talk politics.
Yeah, and he's staying very quiet. You're with the Mako Rugby Roundup, and our special guest is Ethan Blackadder, and he is Mako 146, All Black 1,195. And this time last year, we had you on the show, and you were coincidentally recovering from injury then, and as you are now. And you're here in Nelson and with the Tasman Mako squad. I'm sure they love having you around there. This must be a bit more difficult for you personally because it means you have missed out on the Rugby World Cup squad. And so how has all that come about? And you'll know the truth, but I mean, the rumours were John Kerwin was even saying apparently they were on the phone to you right up till selection time. So how did that all go for you, Ethan?
Oh, yeah, it's just been one of those seasons for myself. Just picked up quite a few sort of soft tissue injuries, so haven't really played a lot of footy since March when I did pull my calf muscle. So, yeah, it's just been hard to get back on the footy park pretty much this season. But, obviously picked up a few injuries just recently and didn't quite get to the start line to put myself in a position to maybe be selected if I was on their radar. So, yeah, here I am now, and pretty happy to be back home.
So, that whole process, they were keeping in touch with you the whole time. So there was always a chance if you could prove that your injury was, I guess you could come back in a certain period of time, that there was still an opportunity.
Yeah, there was still an opportunity, and I just needed to play some rugby and sort of be fit and available. And that was going to be pre-season against Canterbury, and then it was meant to be round one. But picked up a calf injury 3 weeks before round one, and sort of stopped me from there.
And I heard Ian Foster being interviewed about yourself and Joe Moody, and there was that, they were always on the radar, but then when it came to that final, you were talking about, injury cover and how hard it is once the tournament starts to get them in there, and making that decision, well, do we take a punt, and hopefully they come right, or do we actually take a full squad away? So you don't have to tell us, but did Fozzie sort of have those conversations with you?
Yeah. No, Fozzie's a good man, and we had a couple of phone calls and stuff like that, but it wasn't too in depth. It was just first of all, the first phone call was just try and be available and fit, and then I didn't quite get there, and then the second phone call was sort of won't be coming.
Yeah,
but it was, to be honest, you'd never know if and buts, but all I know is I got a pretty strong squad going over there, and bloody, I wish them all the best.
Yeah, absolutely. So in your mindset, did you always kind of know it was going to be difficult to get on that plane in your current situation?
Yeah, I believe so, because even if I was fit and available, you look at the loose forwards in there now, and they only took 5, so I reckon it would have been bloody hard.
So even if you were fully fit, making the side would have been a big bonus.
Yeah, that's right. I'd sort of.
You're sure, mate.
It's a hard one to know, because I never was fit and available. I couldn't put myself in the position, but that's sport.
Well, it just goes to show. I mean, up's to you, because your name was bandied. I mean, we hardly ever saw you on the footy park, and your name was bandied around right up before that announcement. So there you go. Stuff that you have done in the past that did come through, because it's not only about form now, but it's seeing what people can achieve or what they've done in the past. And potentially Havili, I mean, he didn't have much footy. He did with Crusaders, obviously, but prior to that he was injured, and that was touch and go. But they obviously thought, he's been there before, he's seen it before, and he's performed before, so we have the faith that he can do it, and got the gig.
Yeah, Davey's a prime example of that. Like, he had 8 or 9 weeks off from his injury against the Waratahs, worked bloody hard right up until round one, and he nailed it. So pretty stoked for him, eh? Yeah,
even when the actual squad were actually in other positions were travelling quite well, so ups to him. That's the effort that he's done in the past. So the injury itself, tell us about that, and what's the plans going forward for you? Are we expected to see you on the park at some point?
Yeah, no, it's all tracking pretty good at the moment, but I've been saying that for a few months. Things have been falling apart, but hopefully back in a couple of weeks. I'm back normal training now, so I'm pretty stoked about that, and not too far away.
So normal training, does that mean contact, or are you wearing a bib?
Normal training now.
Normal training.
Yeah,
awesome.
So I've just recovered from a calf injury, which has been I did that 5 weeks ago. So now I'm back running normally, tackling, all that stuff. So I'm nearly ready to go.
So with those soft tissue injuries, what do the physios talk about that? Because it's often when you're coming back from injury, sometimes things keep pinging all the time, and they talk about that pressure, don't they, on the muscles? So what do the physios say to you about those soft tissue issues that you've been having?
Yeah, it's been quite a hard one to put my finger on, because there's been multiple different ones. But it doesn't really. Yeah, like I say, I don't really have answers, and sometimes they actually don't have answers. It's just been happening.
Just bad luck.
But what I am trying to do is change things up and try different things to see if that actually helps on each return to play injury. So I've just been doing that, and I sort of got to hope for the best because some of these niggles have been coming out of nowhere. So it catches you by surprise a little bit. But all I know is I'm not far away and I'm going to enjoy it.
Cool. Tom Marshall got his blazer. You're not far away. So what is it? 6 more games?
Oh, I'm actually 42 games. Yeah. So
right.
Still
okay.
Still 8 away.
8 away. Right.
Yeah. I haven't played for Tasman since the semi-final in 2019. So, the thoughts of wearing the Mako jerseys pretty, I'm real excited.
Great. Good stuff.
So on that note, though, you say you got half a dozen 4 games in the Mako shirt, and you were still shy of your 50. Would getting that blazer be something you'd want to come back to the team to do? Because it's a pretty exclusive club of men who have played 50 games with Tasman.
Yeah, it would be. Obviously, it would be pretty cool to achieve that. I've sort of, as I've gone on with my footy, I'm not sort of fixed on milestones anymore. Right. I just sort of, like if I got there, absolutely be stoked, but it's not my driver. I just sort of, suppose appreciating just being fit and healthy at the moment and just playing a game's pretty special. So,
Just getting back on the part would be awesome. Yeah.
If I got to that achievement, so be it. But that's not the forefront.
Nice. Mate, going back to where it all began, back in Collingwood days, was playing rugby as a junior part of your weekly routine?
Back I didn't actually. So under 8s and 9s, I played for Tākega. That's when I lived in Collingwood. I only lived there for 1 year.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I played with my cousin and stuff like that through the junior grades,
and then across to Nelson College.
Yeah, that's right. And I actually played some junior footy for Stoke for a couple of years with the likes of Mitch Hunt and all that.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Before Nelson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. And then Nelson Club was my senior rugby club once I'd left school.
Yeah. So after first 15, Nelson College?
Nah.
Go away.
No.
So what kind of sports were you into playing through college?
I played cricket at college, eh? Yeah, I played cricket and it was just cricket and a bit of footy, and I played my rugby at the end of school. Yeah, when I was year 13.
So you still feel a bit of a connection to the Nelson Footy Club then?
Yeah, Nelson Club.
That's where it's all.
Yeah, that's where I first played senior rugby and where all my opportunities sort of come from.
Yeah. Makes good sense, eh?
Yeah.
So what does that Nelson Club mean for you?
Oh, yeah, it means everything, eh? Like all my long life friends, a lot of them are from there, and that's where I learnt a lot. Just getting thrown into senior footy, that's where it all started. So, yeah, it's very special to me.
Yeah, not only footy skills, but life skills?
Yeah, that's right. You meet heaps of people through rugby, as you guys all know. It's not just a game, it's actually the broader thing to it. The people and the things you can do with it, and it's great, isn't it?
Well, I know they love you, so it's mutual, eh? You made your debut for Tasman in 2016 against Otago and Dunedin, and you've now played 42 matches. You have a great work ethic, and that's been captured as a team value called the Mako work rate, right? Now, you might not know this, but I think you're the model for that Mako work rate standard. So does it make you proud that your personal standards are now a team standard?
Yeah, I remember Goody, Andrew Goodman messaged me 2 years ago when because I was away with the ABs at the time, and then Goody sent the photo through to me, and he just said, here's our new value. And I was pretty surprised. It was quite cool because we had our 3 that we dialed in back in 2018. And then, they've added another one. And, I think it fits the team quite well, like having Mako work rate as a value.
So what it means basically is just continually playing the game, getting up off the ground, getting to the next tackle, getting to the next ruck, never giving up, chasing to the corner flag if you have to. All of that hard work that if you don't do it, either you're going to leave a gap or someone's got to fill it. So it's Mako work rate. It's pretty cool. And Ethan's the standard bearer of it. So congratulations, mate.
Fantastic.
I'm pleased that Goody did that. What games do you still think back on in those 42 as your greatest memories?
Probably, obviously, the first one. That was pretty cool. But my last season I played for Tasman, 2019. That was probably one of my most enjoyable seasons I had.
Yeah, well, and what a season it was, undefeated over 12 games, winning the first premiership.
That's right.
What's not to
first
like?
coaching gig for Goody, wasn't it? And he went undefeated. That was an amazing start. I don't think I've ever seen a coach come in and debuting and then just undefeated for the whole season. But then he actually ended up turning around and doing it again, even though it was a bit touch and go. He ended up winning it again. So obviously there's some standards that Goody brings in with his own work ethic, because he's always worked hard, and to his coaching style that obviously gels the team.
Yeah, that's so true. Goody's done so much for Tasman Club, and it's been cool seeing his coaching journey and how he's progressed. It's been incredible, really. And now he's over in Ireland doing his thing there, and I was having a chat to him the other day, and he's always got gold and knowledge, and he's obviously a top man too.
Yeah, and his name was bandied around with the Crusaders job, as a serious contender. And the other thing that we pick up about the current coaching crew is those ethics that were put into play. I'm sure that's come through the other coaches.
Oh, definitely from KK and Leon, Clark Dermody and Craig Cornelius.
Carried on that legacy, haven't they, with the ethics that they have, yeah.
So when you walk back into the camp this year, right, who from that 2019 was still around and that you could immediately have a bit of banter with?
We've got a pretty cool environment at Tasman, so we banter with everyone. But the Quinnies and Nank and Putty and all those boys are still floating around.
They are.
But love the team. It's awesome.
So 2018, mate, you joined the Crusaders and got named Rookie of the Year. How many games have you played for that club now?
I've played 37 to date. Yeah. So,
Never experienced a losing season?
I suppose. No, I haven't, fortunately.
Which Super Rugby title sticks with you as the favourite or the best?
I think probably the last season, 2022. I think just because it wasn't uphill the whole season. Like, there was a lot of challenges and we sort of had to grind out a lot of games and fight for everything, and the depth of the squad got tested again, and then winning an away final against a favourite team to win it. Yeah, I think that was definitely for me.
Not that anyone probably really can tell us, but what do you feel like the secret is behind the success of the Crusaders?
It's a real hard one to sort of put your finger on, but I think it's just the whole organisation, just the coaching staff, and then the good environment that's there. So then players come in from elsewhere and they just fit straight away, and they can just be free and just play footy. And then I think the leadership group as well was a massive one at the Crusaders. Like, they just drive great standards, and they just know how to play footy.
So that'd be people like, as coaches, Razor Robertson must set a very high standard, but he's also very personable with his players, isn't he? And then there's Sam Whitelock and Joe Moody, I guess, as senior players helping drive the team leadership.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Razor, he's got a great connection with players. Doesn't matter if you just come in or you're old, more experienced. Yeah, he's great like that. He just gels the team, and then he gels his coaching team. So it's a well run ship. Really.
Run ship. That sums it up, doesn't it?
Because Dan was saying basically when he got there as what he called himself a rookie forwards coach. Basically, Razor said to him, "It's your ship, where you go, and if you need me to clear the room, I'll clear the room. You tell me what you need, full license, and obviously he's going to keep an eye on things, but, that gives you great confidence going in there as a rookie coach. There you go. There's a Crusaders forward pack, knock yourself out. How's that? And obviously he's going to pick brains, but that's what Razor said to him.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and that makes sense. I'd imagine he would have. And he's gone amazing. DP has.
Yeah,
he has, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He has.
And the confidence is flowing through in all levels of his coaching now. That's for real. The ultimate highlight for any player is to become an All Black. And you got that honour in 2021 when you came off the bench against Tonga at Mount Smart Stadium. Well done. I think that was quite a romp at Mount Smart, 100+ points put on by the ABs. Obviously, that your first test will be one of your great memories. But you've now played 9 tests. Which one of those was the toughest you played?
Toughest would have to be in Townsville against Africa.
Oh, yeah.
That would be the toughest one I've played in.
And why?
And close second, Ireland and Dublin.
Right.
Just physical sides and direct. Yeah, international footy is quite different, It's sort of one on small margins, and there's a lot on the line, and those two teams were big and physical, and they're the ones you want to play.
I was going to say, debuting against the Tongan boys, I mean, the size of them coming at you, you have to be pretty brave.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and them too.
Yeah, but we do remember that Northern Hemisphere tour. You had to play Ireland and Dublin, then you played France, did you not?
Yeah.
And they were just difficult test matches for us to watch and for the ABs to play. And there you are, a person we love and admire, having to go head-to-head with these massive human beings in their forward packs.
That's right. That was, tough tour, that one. But you look at where the team is now, and they were the building blocks to get to where they are now, I feel. So, I reckon they're in a good place to compete.
And that South African pack, that would have had all of the big second rowers in there and their massive front row. Are they bigger than us in physical stature as a group of 8 players versus 8 Kiwis?
Yeah, I think they probably are. But when you're out on the paddock, you don't really think too much about that. It's another body, and
it's certainly bigger than me and you, Liz.
Absolutely. But that's why it must be what Ethan says about small margins and test match rugby, because you've got to wear them down, don't you?
That's right. Yeah, no, the big lads, but nothing changes. The bread and butters of footy that's it.
Yep, got it. You're still young, just 28. Do you still have the drive to want to be an All Black going forward?
I just honestly love footy, so I'll just keep playing and enjoying that. And if that puts me in a position to be selected again, so be it. But I love playing footy, and right now it's for the Mako. So
right. So
pretty stoked.
So 2024, you'll be playing footy.
Yep.
Awesome.
So the World Cup's just a month away, and 6 other Mako players in the squad. So how do you think they're going to go? And of course, the opening match is going to be against France, who at one point were the favourites. I'm not too sure whether they are going to be now. There's been whether or not people are just playing games at the moment, but Scotland are looking pretty good too. Everyone's sort of, I guess, trying different squads out, so you can never really tell before they start. But how do you think the 6 Mako are going to go, and how do you think that first game against France is going to go?
Yeah, really, really cool for the boys. The 6 of them, all close mates. It's exciting. No, I think they'll feature in a lot of the games, I reckon. Quite often they'll be in that 23.
Yeah, we were kind of saying that, weren't we? When we read it, we were going through the list of Mako players. We're not talking about bench players, but potentially a few years ago we were saying that. We're talking about most of them starting, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I reckon they'll be in that 23 a lot. And it's hard to say what the first game will be. It's all hype and people talking about their 10's gone down injured, but you never really know. That's what I've noticed of sports, unpredictable. But exciting.
Is there a big difference playing away in that environment? So the home crowd's all for the home side, and is it a lot tougher than playing at home for the All Blacks?
I think it's quite cool because the crowds are huge, obviously, and really vocal and loud. So I think it's quite cool playing overseas like that. And I think it'll be.
So you kind of rise to the occasion.
Yeah, I reckon. it starts off in the national anthems. It's pretty rowdy, and then I reckon it just builds from that. So I think they'll love it.
And so then, of course, we always talk about the pool matches and how we've got to go from a big game against France, and then we've got to play some other teams that aren't so high on the table, although watch out for Italy if they decide, to turn it all on. And then all of a sudden you're into the playoff matches. So do they talk about mindset? How do you handle those pool games?
Because I've never been in that position yet, I'm not sure, but I don't think they'd take any team lightly. I think they'd put a priority on, if you're wearing that black jersey, you've got a job to do, and there's no such thing as an easy team. So I'm guessing that's what the approach would be.
Yeah. And I think last time we spoke to you, it's exactly what you were talking about. How do you eat an elephant? You take it a piece of it at a time. And for you always talked about just focusing on what you have to do each play, and doing it the best that you can. And so I guess each player, they've got that mindset, do they? Is that what the coaching staff give to the players?
Yeah, they do. The coaches try to set up the players the best they can, and then then you've got the job to do. So, yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So,
and Richie McCaw talked about that dark space, when things are getting hard and the mindset you've got. And that one way to get out of that was just concentrating on the right here and now, what's in front of you. Is that something they talk to you about?
Yeah, a lot of that. They talk to a lot of teams talk about the stuff, like just focusing on the task and the present, not dwelling on mistakes and what could have been. Yeah, I think that's the healthiest way to do it, is just you make a mistake, so what?
And the other thing is about enjoyment, isn't it? Because last time we had you on, we were talking about your aspirations and your motivations and where did you come from with your rugby pedigree. And, of course, your old man was an ex-All Black. And you just said, well, I just like playing with my mates. And I was playing second division. And then Tony Lewis dragged me into this into the Mako squad. And I met some other mates. And I'm still enjoying my rugby. So that hasn't really changed for you.
Yeah, that's right. That's my main priority is, playing, loving my footy with my mates.
Are you still getting out and about hunting and fishing and jet boating and the things you used to do instead of rugby?
Yeah, I've been pretty quiet on the hunting front this year just because of all these niggles I've had. But still jet boating, quad biking, all the outdoor stuff. Yeah, I love doing that. So
yeah, it's a shame if you get rugby injuries, it upsets your outdoor activity, isn't it? So tell us about Toddy. Where's he at the moment? What's he up to?
Yeah, Toddy's good. He was back for a couple of months after the Toshiba season he had in Japan. So he just popped back and was over in Golden Bay doing his thing.
Oh, what's he?
Yeah. He was working pretty hard for a couple of months. So he was enjoying that. And now he's popped back to Japan for their pre-season.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
So what is he with Toshiba? Is he over there?
Yeah. The team's called Toshiba, Brave, Lupus, and they play in the top div. And they've just signed Shannon Frizzell, as you guys know.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I didn't know that. You may have known that.
Yes. No, he's definitely going to Japan, which is why I like this semi-punny for now. And Ethan Blackadder.
Yeah.
Being around in 2024.
Tom Marshall gave us a bit of insight into his experience in Japan, didn't he? I can't remember the team he plays for. They were the Crusaders, aren't they? The Reds or something?
Was it Red Docomo?
Yeah, something like
Red
that.
Hurricanes or something, yeah.
And Quade Cooper was in the side, in the same side. And, and the legend, the Mako legend, number 10.
Oh, Banksy.
Banksy.
Oh, and Squiddy played for them as well.
Right. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
An aftermatch there to be at.
So he's enjoying Japan then? It's a good environment over there?
Yeah, really enjoying it. Yeah, he's been there for 4 seasons now. This will be his 5th. And, started off pretty hard with the COVID. It really hit the comp quite big over there. They had to, postpone games and it got cut short. So that was tough early, but now it's just normal. So, they're loving it.
So for you, it's just getting back on the park and there's the rest of the Mako season to have. So you're looking forward to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I've been rehabbing for a bit this year, so I'm pretty excited to put that aside.
So we need to know, what game are you targeting for your return?
Hopefully 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks' time.
It'll be 2 or 3. Just depends how I get through the week.
Okay.
But
couldn't sneak you in next Wednesday.
yeah, that would have been a good opportunity, eh?
Yeah, cool. All right, Ethan, look, we really appreciate you coming in. It's good to have you back again, a friend of the show, and we really appreciate the time that you take out to come and have a chat to us. You know, certainly our local fans really enjoy catching up with what our players are up to, and especially with the career that you've had so far. They really enjoy seeing where things are at, and really happy that you're on the comeback and you'll be hitting the field soon.
Yeah, cheers, boys. Appreciate coming in, and I'll be coming in to spill a Guinness at some stage soon.
yeah.
So,
well, now you know where it is. You can see all the screens around here. There's plenty to come and enjoy. Thanks, Ethan. And gentlemen, thanks for joining us. What's the weekend like for you guys?
Yeah, mate. I'm looking forward to that Wellington game. Make sure that Wellington get the job done, and then all our attention turns to Wednesday night, of course.
Yeah.
Looking forward to watching the Mako play against Northland. I'm hoping that there's more improvement, and I'm looking forward to them coming home with a win, and then preparing very quickly for Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a short
Wellington.
turnaround, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, they call it Storm Week, where you have to play Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday. So busy week, but not much training. Is that right, Ethan?
Nah, just a quick session Saturday morning, watch the boys, and then get out for a quad bike in the hills. So
right.
Yeah.
Do you watch them if you're not playing? Will you watch it on the telly?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, I'll watch all the teams I play and I support if I'm not playing.
Good on you.
Good stuff. All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And thanks to our listeners. Keep the comments coming in, and we'll talk to you again next week.
The Mako Rugby Roundup. What's on, where, and when? It's the Talk of Nelson. Talk Nelson Radio.